next question up. So let's begin here by, as always, reading the question sentence first. When it comes to word problems, we can ask you for anything and everything. So that's where you always want to start. Where the goal of the problem lies. So here, if there are 49 wins, how many games are there in total? So when I read that pretty casually, I saw that we're talking about wins versus total. Can we confirm that real quick, everybody? Can we all confirm that we see wins versus total, not wins versus losses? Can we just confirm that? Okay, cool. So that's what I'm going to start to write down. I'm going to write that down here. We have 49 wins, and then we want to know how many there are in total. So that's what I'll do here. I'll say 49 wins, and then I'll compare that with blank total. And I'll go ahead now and remind myself that if I'm comparing the same things in the same way, we're dealing with a proportion. So let me go ahead and see if I'm going to get that same comparison between wins and total. Let me see if that's going to happen. So here in the first sentence, in a team's season record, wins and losses are in a 7-to-5 ratio. Okay, cool. So let me show you the biggest mistake, the clearest mistake that people make here. And I hope that, this is me being very genuine, very honest. I really hope that you take mistakes that you make as opportunities to grow and, lower that probability of making the mistake again. That's the goal of a mistake. It's to overcome it the next time you have an opportunity to. So here's the mistake that happens. The mistake that happens is you might read wins 7, losses 5. And once you do that, the mistake is this. We think that we can go ahead and just put 7 wins and then 5 losses right there. And we think that it's all good and well. We think that that's all we need to do, nothing more needed. And this is where things can go wrong. Let me show you 2 of the ways that we can correct this. Number 1, everybody. Number 1, if we are comparing wins to losses, we have wins right here. But what does this actually represent? It's not total if we go ahead and solve this proportion. It's going to be what, everybody? What is that going to be? I got to take out total. I got to write what? Losses. Because we got to compare the same things in the same way, right? If I'm showing wins to losses, wins to blank is also wins to losses. Let me show you what happens if you make that mistake. So I want to just cross this out, and I'm going to write losses. Let me show you this. We're going to do X here, and I'm going to do 49 for wins over X losses equals 7 wins over 5 losses. Again, wins to losses, wins to losses. Nice and easy. If I go ahead and solve this, I'll just go ahead and you can do cross multiplication, or you can do comparing the same things in the same way. And I'll do comparison because I noticed that there's a pretty convenient one here. Everyone, how do I go from 7 to 49? Can you tell me? Yeah, that's times 7. Okay, great, cool. That's a pretty smooth one. Now let's do the same thing in the denominator. Everyone, from 5 to X. We know it's going to be the same pattern, times 7. Compare the same things in the same way. 5 times 7 gives us what? Yeah, 5 times 7, that'll give us 35. So cool, we have X equals 35. But everybody, based on what we did here, based on our setup, what was X or 35? What does that represent again? What does that represent? 35 represents, the losses. We just said it right there. That's what it represents. However, what were we asked to find, everyone? What was the goal? Yeah, the goal is the total. So what we need to do to get the total is 49 plus 35. If we add those together, theoretically, we're good. Because wins plus losses gives you the total. So 9 plus 5, that'll be 14. Carry the 1. Then we have 4 plus 3. That's 7. Carry the 1 is 84. Booyah, right there. However, everybody, Would anybody here like to see a way that we can actually just set the proportion up correctly? That way we're not, trying to remember whether or not we have to do extra work at the end or not. I got you. I got you. So here, let me try this out. Let me go ahead and show you nice and easy. What I'll do here is I will move this here down there. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to settle for just writing random letters without double checking. I'm not going to settle for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 5 losses out of there and I'm going to say, hey, I need total. I need total here as well. So everyone tell me this. If I have 7 wins and 5 losses, what do I do to get the total? What do I do? You add them. Exactly. You add your wins and losses together. That'll give you the total games. What's 7 plus 5, everyone? 7 plus 5, that's going to give us 12. That's 12 total. So I'll put the 12 right here. And guess what? I am now comparing the same things in the same way. My question sentence gave me wins and it asked me for total. And I was able to do that same comparison now. Check it out. I have wins now compared to total. Now I'm good to go. Look at this here. I'll do wins compared to total. 49 over x equals 7 to 12. Wins compared to total. We saw that the comparison right over here is going to be 7 times 7 equals 49. And so now what I'll do is 12 times 7. And then I'll sit back, relax, and maybe watch some cartoons with all this extra time that I'm going to have on the test, because 12 times 7 equals 84. And we're done. Same correct answer that we ended up getting before, but we got it in a fraction of the time because we knew how to properly set up the proportion, and then we took advantage of the mental math skills that we developed. There we go.